Hello everyone, Galidorn back again playing Raid Shadow Legends. Today is going to be something new for the channel. I'm going to be focusing on a team that I built for farming the Iron Twins. I have to give a bit of credit for this one to a friend of the channel, AKD Gaming. When I showed my first clear, he suggested the 3 Painkeeper combo with my Helicath. I do not have 3 Painkeepers built out. However, I do have 2 Helicats.
Oh, good for you!
And I do have 1 Painkeeper, and then I realized that my Emic, Trunkheart, he also has a cooldown or a reduced cooldown on one of his abilities. So then I took that inspiration and I built the team around the Painkeeper and my 2 Helicats. Now, at first, this might not seem to be a very free-to-play, casual-friendly team at all, but I will address that later on in the video. So first, I'm going to show you my first clear using this team, which was a Void. So I did not go on auto for the first clear of the Void. I went fully manual, just basically seeing if I could do it. And my concept was to not let the block damage or the unkillable that Emic also has to get below 1 stack across the entire team. So whenever block damage or unkillable came to 1 stack, that's when I would deploy either the unkillable from Emic or the block damage from either of the Helicats. And all the damage, of course, would be coming from Geomancer and his passive. Now, the plan was to basically use Emic's unkillable as a bridge between the periods of time that I believed that even with the cooldowns, the Helicats might not have the block damages available for anyone, or someone might outrun the block damages. Because I did not speed tune this in any way. And I pulled my Painkeeper out of the vault because I used to use her in my Dark Elf faction team until she got replaced quite a while ago. And as you see here, she was even at 50 when I pulled her out to use her on this team. So basically, Emic, the 2 Helicats, and Painkeeper are the support structure around Geomancer, keeping everybody alive. And with the cooldowns from Painkeeper or reduced cooldowns from Painkeeper and Emic being the engine driving the team ahead. And as I was going through this, I was just seeing how the team meshed together to see if they could actually cover themselves, and also if my Geo had enough accuracy to be consistently landing his burn on the Iron Twins 15 boss. Now, another thing that Painkeeper has is that heal based on her max HP. You just saw me use it there. Really should not have used it there because no one needed the healing. And it's actually an important part of the team that I realized as I developed this team over a few iterations of the Iron Twins. Because of the ignore unkillable he has on his A1, the first person he hits will ignore unkillable. So it's important to heal up Emic because with his taunt, he'll be the one he's hitting. So he needs to be have a bit of health when he has his unkillable on him, or else he will die. Now, of course, that was brought in to defeat the Paragon Cheese, a strategy that people were first using against the Iron Twins when they came out. So basically what it is that his A1, the first part of it, his first hit, will ignore the unkillable of whoever he hits with it. However, it doesn't hit very hard, but if you're sitting there at a couple of hit points just relying on your unkillable, it will in fact kill you. See, very important there. If it wasn't for Emic, Geo would have died. You saw there, ignore unkillable. It's fortunate that Emic has that taunt as part of his kit, because then the Iron Twins will be forced to target him instead of another member of the team that would be put down by the unkillable. So you see that synergy work together to keep Geomancer alive. Now, I don't have my Emic fully booked out yet, so he doesn't have the full cooldowns from his unkillable ability, but he will in the future. And there now you see, he's going to die. And there it is. There is my first clear of Iron Twins 15 Void. As you can see, Geomancer over 4 million damage. Now at this time, I decided that I would bring my Painkeeper up to level 60 because it was fortuitous. It was the Hero's Path event during the Ankor fusion that this happened. So again, very beneficial. It helped me in my champ training portion of that. So once I got her up to 60, I decided to go back in and try it again to see if I actually could turn this team into the Iron Twins 15 farm. Because if I could do this, it would be a massive boon to the account. Again, at this point, I was not really trusting in putting it on auto. But then I decided to go in and put it on auto to see what would happen. Because if I could make an auto IT 15 farming team, that would just be amazing. Now, of course, with the Iron Twins, things always might look great from the start. However, it's once he gets down into that under 50% hit point range that things become really deadly and dangerous. That's when the Doomsday Machine starts kicking in. It starts to kick in at 40% health. And as you can see there, Painkeeper did die. So I took it off auto to make sure that the run was successful. And then Geo died, and that was a defeat. So I went in to try it again. So I was trying to see if I could do an automatic farm with a bit of a setup. So I was trying to see if I could space out the block damages and the unkillable, so that at one point you could put it on auto and let it run. So as you can see here, I had to take it off auto again because it had started to become a bit dangerous, and I felt that Geo would have died without my intervention. And as you can see there, there it goes. Emic died, and that was because of the ignore unkillable. Because he had the unkillable on him, but he had like no health. So the boss killed him. However, fortunate enough, as long as Geo's still alive, it's still the win condition. And as you can see there, I did win. So now let's address the big elephant in the room. I have double Helicats. Here's the thing, I did not fuse either of them. He is a fusion that I did not go for. I pulled both of them. And as you know, casual free-to-play, I don't pull shards all that often. I definitely don't spend on the game to do it. But yet, I have got two of them. Emic was my first fusion. Now I'm saying this counterintuitively to say basically no FOMO, especially with the new fusion coming up that everyone's going to want. But I'm going to show you because if you look at hellhades.com, it lists all the past fusions, and I'll link that down below. Drang, a champion which I use extensively everywhere in the game, probably one of my most valuable champions, was a fusion. Again, I pulled him, I did not fuse him. I'm going to run through all the champions I have that were fusions that I did not fuse, but I got anyway. Jetney. Not a fantastic champion, but I pulled her. And I also pulled her husband and mate.
He has a wife, you know. You know what she's called?
Alsgore. I'm developing both of them together because I feel they could be very good as a team. But again, I actually pulled these guys on the same 10 pull. I have a video of it. Druckle was a fusion, not a great champ, but I also pulled him. Lana Tharl, recently just pulled him, also a fusion. Sigmund, fusion, pulled. Every champion here that I'm going to show you was at some point a fusion in the past. Rhodos, a lot of people forget about it, but Rhodos was a fusion. Cillian was a fusion. Molly was a fusion. I have all of these champions. I never ever, Foley was a fusion. I never ever fused anybody before Emic because I thought I never could do fusions, and I was kind of haphazard the way I approached the game anyway. So what I'm saying here is that, hey, if you're not able to do a fusion, don't spend yourself into the ground to do it. Don't wreck your account to do it. Don't risk trying to go for it and wasting a lot of resources if you can't do it, because you could end up pulling that champion in the future. So be wise about the fusions that you pursue. Again, the message here is no FOMO. And even having said that, the gear on Helicath, one of my Helicaths, is not even that good. Look at all those 5 stars. Immortal gear, resilience gear. And I actually don't have fantastic gear on any of these champions, really. And we'll look at that later on as I look at the team itself more in depth. Now we're going to move on to my first clear of stage 15 on the Spirit Affinity boss. Now this one I also did not do on auto for the first clear. I wanted to keep control throughout the entire fight. Also, a reason that this one was going to be a bit more difficult since Geo is of the wrong affinity, the weaker affinity against this boss. Now, of course, you can see that the affinities are mixed up. There's 2 voids in Emic and Painkeeper, and of course you got the 2 spirits in the 2 Helicats and Force with Geo. So yes, this team works differently against different bosses. Obviously, there's no swapping in and out to account for affinity matchups. So as you can see, this one is turning out well. And I did not put on auto, kept it manual.
I keep it real!
And there, the first successful clear of the Spirit. So then I went back and I decided, well, I'm going to run it on the full auto and see what happens. See if this team could actually clear this thing as a farm. At this point, I had not yet set up the AI into its final setup. I had done some tinkering with it, and I'll show you the final setup after I finish off the bosses. And again, everything looks to be going very well here, but now we reach the danger point. The point of contention of this boss is right now until he gets down to very, very low health. And even at low health, there's always a danger he could kill your team. You'll see the functioning of the unkillable along with the block damage as intended. And then that worked out very well. So I thought, oh, for sure, I have a very viable level 15 farm. And you can see the higher essence there. So this is going to be very good. But then I did it again. I said, okay, we're going to run for it. And I did full auto one more time on the spirit affinity. But then this happened.
Oh my God!
Now, I still won, but that's the definition of close. Everybody dead. Now, we're going to move on to the magic boss. Now, I showed you previously that I did defeat this boss with my old setup, but want to see if this team could go across all affinities. Now, this affinity could give some issue to this team because, as you can see, there is no magic affinity champion on the team. And as we know, the less of the affinity that you have that the boss has, the stronger he will get in terms of the damage that he does throughout the fight. But the saving grace here is because Geo is the stronger affinity against magic, there is very little chance that the boss will actually resist his burn. And we see there that Painkeeper actually died though, so that's not very good, but fortunately the team did beat the magic champion. So there's a little bit of concern that the team might not be 100% on the magic affinity. I just want to discuss now my strategy moving forward in terms of my old setup versus this new team that can farm the highest level of the Iron Twins. So I was always farming stage 12 across all of the affinities, which of course is less energy, and the setup that I have here based on Lord Chanfort in the lead with Melga and Helikath. Now we see here my setup against the Spirit Champion. The final two spots would rotate usually on the affinity. You can see here we have Ninja and we have Rotos, and that is because they're the stronger affinity against the Spirit. And this one is mainly focused on Champfort being able to always keep the boss under the decreased speed. And of course, Melga for revival, Helikath for protection, and then the two damage dealers. The other two damage dealers that will cycle in are, of course, Geo. And for the Force affinity, I had Geo in there with Drex. And this team, with its core 3, plus the rotating DPSs, is 100% across all the affinities, all the bosses, at stage 12, which is a good stage to farm. It's where you start getting the essences, so you can build up the essences. So stage 12 is a very good stage to farm, and of course it costs a little less energy. The problem with this team going up to level 15 is Champfort. My Champfort does not have enough accuracy to land the decreased speed on the boss, which is crucial in this comp. As you can see here, and there, one of the big things that Roto says, I have him in Reaper, so that's very important. So we'll take a look at the team, and the thing that I did notice in my playthroughs was Helikath's shield became a problem throughout the fight. So as you see here, I have Painkeeper and Emic set up to do their A1s actually, and then cycle into their cooldown abilities afterwards. Yeah, so he starts off with his A1, or she starts off with her A1, he starts off with his A1, then he'll prioritize his cooldown afterwards, and she is going to prioritize her cooldown as well afterwards in the combat tactics. I left Spectacular Sweep on standard because I don't know exactly if she'll use it all the time or just when she senses that people are in need of it. Now, as you can see here, I start my faster Helikath out with the block damage, and I don't have him have his Winds of Pit going, his shield turns it off. And then the slower Helicath, I put him on the Winds of the Pit as opening, but then I shut it off. And then I have the block damage on standard. And you'll see I have the block damage on standard for the both of them. And the reason for that is that their AI will not put the block damage when they see that there's 2 stacks of block damage across. So I don't want them burning it when they don't have to. I took off Geo's A2 because it does nothing, of course, against the boss.
Nothing. Huh? You heard me. Nothing.
And of course, he's got to land that HP burn as much as possible. So that's a no-brainer there. So in the build for this team, I have my non-bolster Helicath. I have him prioritizing defense. Now, the thing is, I have not built any of these champions specifically for this team. They play other roles for me, specifically the 2 Helicaths I also have in my clan boss team. So when I built this Helicath, I built him to land a big shield with the defense and also to keep himself alive. So that's why he has the immortal gear and the resilience gear. So it's heavily dependent on him having high defense, but also being able to generate health. And when I went through and got the pieces, I focused on the defense. So as you can see here, defensive gloves. So these Helicaths don't do very much damage. I did not build them for damage. I built them for shields, block damage, survivability. So there's defense on his gloves. There's defense on his chest, and speed on the boots with a bit of defense, a double roll of defense in there. So I built this Helicath. This was the first Helicath that I built. Built them a long time ago. And again, like I said in the past, I do not go about swapping gear. It's very rarely I swap gear. He works well in the gear that he has here, but still, it's not great gear. So if we look at my bolster Helicath, this is the Helicath that I use in the arena. You've seen me use my team called the Wall.
All in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
And this is the arena Helicath. So the focus on this Helicath was for a little less defense, but a bit more HP. So HP for the bolster shield and for the healing, of course. And when I run the arena team, I have Drang in the lead with his HP boost, which boosts up Helicath's bolster quite a bit. Now for Emic, I built him again for survivability and for defense. I didn't build him for damage at all. I built him with the mind of possibly using him in arena, which I do from time to time, but I also use him in Doom Tower. So again, a champion that was not built with the intent of Iron Twins. You see, I built him with a lot of HP. His damage based on HP, and he has that HP aura. And a lot of defense to keep him alive. So he is there to keep other people alive. And that's his build. Again, not built specifically intentionally for the Iron Twins. Now, the way it is laid out is that he is the second fastest on the team. Again, not really done with speed tuning in mind. That's just the way it all kind of fleshed out, but it fleshed out well. Geo is the fastest. I want him to be able to be putting the HP burn on the boss as much as possible. So as we can see, Geo here, he's in regen gear. And again, that was just to have him in various different scenarios. I use him all over the place, especially in Doom Tower. And so to keep himself alive and to land, of course, his burn, I focused on his accuracy. So he's at, for my account anyway, very high accuracy, over 500. And his speed is not bad, not blistering, but he is the fastest on the team to be able to be putting that burn over and over and over again. So as you can see, all these champs are basically in gear that helps them survive, helps them heal. Now, it's good that Painkeeper also has a bit of a heal. And when I built Painkeeper all those long time ago, years ago, basically, I wanted her to basically have the most HP for that heal. So as you can see here, she has over 90k HP. And she's actually the slowest one on the team, which works out because she goes behind and then she boosts the abilities of everyone who's gone in front of her. So that worked out. You can see here, I don't have her in speed boots.
What the fuck?
Again, everything devoted to HP on her. Her speed is fast enough that she's not, you know, like going in molasses and useless, but it's at a good pace to keep her behind everybody else. Now, as you can see, I don't even have her maxed out with masteries yet. When I took her out of the vault, she was at 50, and she wasn't in anywhere with the masteries. Well, she was towards the last bit of her masteries, so I've thrown her back into Minotaur. I'm running her in Minotaur. Now, I don't know what I'm going to put on her, either the HP or the timely intervention. So that's going to be a decision I have to make when I finally get enough scrolls for her masteries. I'm leaning towards the HP, again, to help out with her heal. But I don't know, timely intervention also can be, you know, she might need to come through when people get in trouble. So she's still a work in progress. I can see 35 scrolls. She's a long way to go.
Seen live, my boy.
After doing all that, after tweaking out everything that you saw there, now we're going to see the final version of the max level farming team work against Force. Now this one should actually be my most reliable and my strongest team against this boss, simply because the Helicats, of course, are the stronger affinity, and Geo is a neutral affinity against it, and of course the two Voids are neutral affinity against it. So there's no weakness on this team. I guess you could say it'd be even with the Void team. Actually, the Void team probably a little stronger because of the two affinities are the same with Emic and Painkeeper. So I guess it would be fair to say that the Void team should be the strongest one. But this one would be second to that one. So as you can see here, we're defeating him. Painkeeper did die there, it's a concern. But however, I did run all 6 runs against this fully on auto, and I won every single time. So I had a 100% success rate. I'll just show you another one. So I will rely on this team to farm 15, but I may switch back to my other team, depending on how I feel about it, to farm the lower level, stage 12. Now, here's something I have discussed, how maddening this game could be. Okay, so I was holding for a 4-star on my Rotos, but then Drang Soul came up, a 3-star split soul for 120. So I said, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to buy Drang Split Soul because I use them everywhere, so it was very, very valuable. And then on the very next iteration, Rotos' Split Soul that I've been waiting for 300 of the essence showed up.
This is bullshit.
Now, I was highly tempted to pull to see if I could get Rotos. However, Drang cost me 120. That would have been viable if I still had the 188 that I had been saving. I could have pulled some of those soul stones and gotten my 300 Rotos. But I missed out after waiting so long, so I spent on Drang, and then the very next iteration of the Soul Merchant, the 4-star split soul Rotos showed up. So again, I'm going to wait
2,000 years later.
On Rotos. I'm not going to pull any more. I'm not going to buy any more souls. Don't care who it is. So, all right, guys, that is my team. Hope you got some inspiration from that. I hope everything is well in your life and that raid is going well for you. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.